You want to go ahead? Okay. So today we are having our call, and I wanted to just, before we have an awesome guest speaker tonight, I want to just talk about a couple things to remind everybody. Rose put a post in the group just this afternoon. This is the last couple of weeks. There's 18 days and left in the rest of the month. So this is definitely a huge opportunity for you guys to get your momentum going. If you guys were at the retreat, you know December is really your month to kick it in the butt, to show everybody what you're doing, and so that when January rolls around, you're already moving, you're already in motion, and you've already shown people that through the holidays, while things are tough, you're doing what you need to do. So let's finish the month strong and help a ton of people. Health Bet starts January 9th. So, you know, this is another reason why you want to get your momentum moving now, because it starts January 9th. So let's get these people already thinking about this, talking about it, sharing about this now, so January comes and they're ready to go. Super Saturdays around the corner. So most of you guys, we've already talked about, those of you from New Jersey, we're going to the Philly event on the 7th. And if you don't have your ticket, I think there is still tickets available, but it should sell out soon. And we're also doing Super Saturday t-shirts. Long sleeve shirts and potentially sweatshirts also. There's a doc in the files of Team Rise file. I'm going to bump it up so it's at the top of the page. Everybody, if you want a shirt or a sweatshirt, we need to know a final head count by the weekend so that we can get the exact number to the shirt lady so that Rose can have them made. So if you want a long sleeve shirt or a sweatshirt, go in the document, edit the document, and say what you want. You don't have to buy it now. We're going to get a final price once we know what you want and how many. Okay, that's it. So I'm going to introduce tonight Jessica Pescola. We are so lucky to have you on the call. Thank you. Jessica is a 15-star elite coach, Success Club 10 legend, Success Club for 29 months. And that is pretty much every month that she's been a coach. So for 29 months, I know we had you on a call last year. It was early in the year, and you have made such amazing growth in the last year. So we are super excited to hear from you, and thank you for coming on the call tonight.
Yeah, girl. Okay, guys. So first off, like mama duty, thank you for having me. I have the timer just went off, but I got the stuff out of the oven. I have my 3-year-old tonight. My husband is a firefighter EMT, and he's working an overnight. And so Isaiah said he'd be really good for us, and I trust that. But if I get interrupted, you know why, right? So there's that little disclaimer to start with. But I'm so honored to be on your call. You guys, way to show up. It is the end of the year. I know how crazy life is right now, and I love what you guys are talking about showing up. You guys are here. You're on this call. I love that you are talking about staying strong in this month and really pushing forward. Use the health bet to your full advantage. It is absolutely something that is incredible. People cannot necessarily right now wrap their head around trying to do something healthy in December. But as we talk about January, they can wrap their head around that and like think about being prepared for that. So I know just from personal experience, you know, really ending the year strong, sometimes it feels like, I mean, I'm trying to invite 20 to 30 people a day right now, and sometimes it feels like it's no constantly, and that can get really discouraging. But just always try to think about knows as opportunity for the future and not rejection. It's a seed planted. And I just feel like every time around November and December when I hear those no's, then in January, February, those people just come back. So what you're doing is you're setting the stage. You're really setting the stage for your new year. And the people that will join you will, and the people that are supposed to later will. But on the average, it takes the average person 7 times to hear about something before they're going to commit. So the time in December that you invited them might be the 3rd time they've seen this whole Beachbody thing. Maybe then when they come back to you in January, it's because they've been watching your posts and your last invite was the 7th time. So just always kind of be thinking of it like that. And I know that that really helps me too. When people say no, I just kind of like check off the list, got the first no out of the way, 12 out of my 16 diamonds in my first CBC said no to me twice. My top coach told me no twice and told me I was part of a pyramid scheme before she joined me. So a lot of people, it's really just smart to say no, I think, the first time, because it's like a defense thing, like, no, I'm good, but now I'm going to watch you. And all of a sudden you're going to pop up more and more to them and all of that good stuff. So anyway, way to show up for the call, way to end strong. I know it's been a struggle to get people on calls and just different stuff with my team, just it's a crazy season. So I think it's really, really great that you guys are here, and thank you again for having me. So tonight I'm going to talk about building trust and investing and inviting. So something that I have learned is just to really invest in people, how to build trust with people. A lot of it is out of my comfort zone at times, but it has absolutely paid off with the relationships that I have built and the coaches that are succeeding on my team. I know it all started out with that first relationship building, and that is a huge passion of mine. Before Beachbody, I was the worship director at a church and the director of connections at a church in Minneapolis, and I had a large platform. So I've moved really fast in this business, but remember that I had a large platform, right? I gained 50 pounds in front of 1,000 people on a stage weekly, and then I lost 50 pounds in front of 1,000 people on a stage, right? So it was very much so a big platform. Although I will say I've signed people up with really big platforms that don't do anything. So it really also has to do with the effort that you put into it. You cannot just sit on your couch and hope and wish for $1 million. It's not going to happen, right? You can't just sit there and wait for it. And then you also can't expect this to be a get rich quick scheme, because nobody wants to be part of those, but they want to get rich quick, right? So it's really finding this balance of what you love in this. And what I've learned is that it's all about the building of those relationships. So I'm going to go ahead and screen share. And some of what I say to you guys tonight might sound really simple. I want it to. I want it to be basic. I want it to be simple. I think that there have been huge highs and lows in this business for me. And sometimes a lot of those lows have been me really overcomplicating it. And I think that if we just keep it simple, it's something that we can duplicate. It's something our coaches can duplicate when we bring them on. And so it might seem simple, but it is, to this day, what I have done. When I started as a coach, I worked 50 hours a week outside the home. I only had time to do 1 power hour a day, and lots of times it was broken up in power pockets of 20 minutes. 20 minutes when I woke up, 20 minutes at lunchtime on the break, and 20 minutes before bed. So what I teach my team, because a lot of my team are busy moms that don't, a lot of them are working outside the home still, and they don't have, they don't do this full time yet. They desire to, but they're not there yet, right? And so I want to give them a system. So what I share with you tonight is going to be a system that I started with, that I had a lot of initial growth with. I think it's powerful, but now that I am doing this full time, I do it a lot. I do a lot more than, 3 or 5 invites a day, and so it's because this is my full-time job now. So let me go ahead and screen share. All right. And I'm really bad at following the chat when I'm on screen share, so feel free to stop me. I'm really casual. Feel free to stop me at any point. But something that I saw at Leadership that I thought was interesting, I actually have a different opinion about it, is this slide. It says, you have 10 seconds to make a great first impression. I actually learned in church ministry that from the second that somebody drives into your parking lot, you have 7 seconds to make a first impression. On social media, you probably have like 2 to 3 seconds. So our first impression is extremely important. Now, this first slide might seem a little basic, and that's okay. But something that I do every single day, or at least try, when I do these talks, I think about like how I need to be more accountable to this. But something that I try to do is really show who I am by every day sharing something about health, hope, and heart. Now, hope is my faith. It's a picture of me singing because I was a worship director. So hope is my faith and heart is my family. And then health is anything I can add value-wise there, right? So I always post these, I try to always post these 3 things a day, and then the rest is just my reality TV show. And it's just, I have a 3-nager, things happen, they're funny. We'll share about them. I try to add value. I try to engage my audience. It can be something silly. It can be anything. I mean, some of my, like I had a post today about emojis or whatever, and I thought it was like so funny because I like was trying to engage my audience, and it wasn't like the most deep post ever, but it got a lot of shares and it got a lot of interaction, and it showed a fun side of my personality.
I need to go poo
Again? Okay, go poo. There's my 3-nager for you. So yes, so every day I try to do this and then let the rest of it just be my reality TV show. And it's really interesting because I attract a lot of moms and I attract a lot of people that value the same faith system I do. And I think that it's because I've been very bold about who I am. This used to scare me a little bit of like, will I be like icing people out if they're not into this? And the truth is that, I'm not pushy about my faith. I'm just open about my faith. And it's the same thing with my Beachbody business. I'm not pushy about my Beachbody business. I'm open about it. And I have a passion to invite people to what I know works, right? And so, I'm so sorry, you guys, 1 second. Good job, baby. Just go ahead and wipe, okay? You can do it. He's good. We're potty training. Can you tell? So, yes, it's super fun. But anyway, so I don't think it's a coincidence, though, that I attract this, even in my cold market, because these are the kind of people that connect with me. So, this is my inviting system, and every day, when I was doing just 1 power hour a day, and this is what my team does. We do 5 new conversations a day, nothing about Beachbody. I'll explain this further in just a minute. The 3 stands for 3 challenge group invites a day, and those are people that I've already 5'd. And then the 2 stands for checking in with 2 personally sponsored coaches a day, or if you don't have any yet, inviting people to be a personally sponsored coach on your team. And I use the Vital process for that. So I really, when I'm inviting people to be coaches on my team, I'm not like cold inviting people to be coaches on my team. I'm going back to challengers that I have already started working with, that I am helping get a transformation, and I'm talking to them about coaching. And I will go even further into each one of these steps. So for the 5, I should also say too, guys, I'm pretty maxed at this point, but I always added 3 to 5 friends a day. I remember, 2 years ago when I started, I had 600 friends. Now I'm at 5,000. And it was, or 4,997 or something like that. But it was one of those things where every day I would go into a different category. So Facebook offers us like different categories on our page when we click on friends. It's like, birthdays, high school friends, and coworkers or college friends or whatever, right? And so Facebook would do that for me. So I would go into, good job, babe. I would go into my friends and I would click on high school, and I would look at my high school friends and I would keep track, and I'd click on like Kelly, say I was at Kelly. So I'd click on Kelly and I would look at her friends and I would go to her high school friends. And it would show me all of her high school friends who I know I went to high school with because we went to high school together. And I would look for people that I was not friends with and who also matched my target market. So usually like a mom with a little kid in her picture would be somebody that I would friend request, and then I would do this formula. Comment plus compliment plus question equals conversation. Thank you, honey. Comment plus compliment plus question equals conversation. So I would say like, hey, Cal, it's been a long time since WHS, which is high school, even if I wasn't close with this person. It's been a long time since high school. There's your comment. It looks like your family is doing great. Your kids are beautiful. That's your compliment. Oh my gosh, girl, I'm due in February. I'm about to have another baby. I'm so scared to have multiples, like wink face. Do you have any tips for me at all? Just starting a conversation about parenting or whatnot. And I will tell you the truth, guys, I actually potty trained Isaiah from doing this. So I would see like moms that had toddlers, and I would connect with them and I would ask them, you know, like, I have a toddler, it looks like you do too, and we're in the process of potty training. Have you figured it out? Do you have any tips for me? You know, and I like learned how to potty train him from tips that I got on Facebook. So it wasn't, there was never any moment where I felt like it was disgenuine. You know, I was genuinely connecting with people. My prayer every day is that God would bless my team, protect us, and that he would use us to be a light for his kingdom, and that he would just bring us a couple people each day that we could help. And in those conversations, I felt like I was able to be a light, and I was also able to receive value as put out value as well. So it's been really positive. So I do that, and that's kind of like my way of creating those conversations each day. I don't wait like a year before I start to invite after that. If I feel like there's a good conversation flow, I'm going to let them know that I'm an online health and fitness coach and I do these challenges, and it's really okay. And it's really fun to connect with old friends. And I would love to have them in my group. Would they ever be interested in hearing more about that? Nothing, you know, and then I also say like, I learned this from Janelle Summers. I might say something at the end like, by the way, it looks like you're in Milwaukee. How do you like Wisconsin? So I might just add something kind of random in there at the end too, so that that's not like the sole focus. But it's been pretty amazing when I hear from people. Actually, you know, to be honest with you, I have actually seen your posts, and I've wanted to reach out to you, but I just, you know, I don't know if it's from mutual friends or whatnot, but I've seen your posts and wanted to reach out to you, but I just didn't really have the guts to. And so you messaging me about your challenge is really interesting, and I think it's something I should do. Okay, Isaiah, you need to give me some time, okay? Go take care of it. So anyway, it's been really, really good to just connect with people. And this is the first start of building trust, in my opinion. You're investing in people. I also try to go to their page quick. I don't make a big ordeal out of it. I go to their page. I like something if I can. Sometimes we can't if they haven't accepted our friend request right away. But I'll like something and I'll comment on something. And that's just a way for me to show them that I've actually taken the time to care and see what, you know, their life is like. Because we've all been that person that has been spammed before, and somebody asks us if we want to try a wrap or something, you know, and it's literally like, hi, Jessica, would you like to try a wrap? And I'm like, I want to train you, you know, like, don't you just feel like that sometimes? You're like, no. So anyway, the goal is to not be those people, and is to show them that, you know, that you truly care. So we are all going to get objections. Like I said at the beginning of the talk, most people usually say no the first time. And I think it's good, no matter what, to do feel, felt, found when you're answering objections. Just, you know, if somebody doesn't have time, if they're like, girl, I work outside the home full time, I've got kids, like I don't have time to work out. I'm going to let them know that I know exactly how they feel. Like, I worked 50 hours a week in ministry, which is really like 65. And I would pick up Isaiah from daycare, and I would have to go back to church because I was never done. And he would say, no, mommy, no church. And it would like break my heart because that was the last thing I wanted him to say. And I never felt like I had the time to give him, and the time that I needed to finish my work, let alone work out, right? But what I found is that Beachbody has these programs that are only 22 to 30 minutes a day. getting up 30 minutes earlier or being able to put him down for a nap when I was home and going and doing my workout and then still being able to get a nap in myself, it was pretty amazing. So I know what you mean, going to the gym and all that, like who's got time for that? But going in your own living room and just doing a 22-minute workout, do you think you could make that work? Does that sound, do you have any questions about that now that you know that? Is there anything I can answer for you? Something along those lines so that you are relatable by letting them know that you've been there. Same thing with money. I always talk about how my husband and I were teaching Financial Peace University. We were paying off debt. The last thing that we were okay with was adding in another expense. So I was, I realized that it was a meal replacement and I treated it like a meal replacement. I did not add in a bunch of, extra stuff to my Shakeology when I first started, and I made sure it was a meal replacement, and we actually ended up saving money, which was pretty incredible. So I always let them know a solution, and letting people know a solution is not pushy. Letting people know a solution is really your responsibility, for it, to show them what works. Can you be quiet, buddy, or you're not going to get to play with the tracks? Okay, so this is something that I always try to remember, is I think sometimes, maybe it's just me, but sometimes when we're going for goals, I'm very goal-oriented, so sometimes when we're going for goals or Success Club, right, it can be really easy to see people as transactional versus transformational. Please don't do that. You can easily start to see people as points, when really I started at one point to kind of lose focus of why I loved coaching in the first place. This year has been, like, in 23 months, my team went 15-star diamonds, right? So, like, big highs, but then some really big lows of, like, learning that you really find out through, this coaching thing has changed my prayer life. You really find out that there's some tough stuff with this, right? It's not just all titles and roses and all this stuff. It's actually really, really hard. And I had to remember what I loved about coaching. And so as I'm building trust with people, I'm reminded of, like, how I wanted this to be a ministry and how I wanted to serve lives and not just, like, get points for a certain title or whatever. It's not about me. It's about them, And so I just always try to remember to find the quality. The bottom line is the mission, and focus on serving and transforming lives. So, I like to keep that, especially that slide, in my register so I can remember, like, don't just focus on being some kind of a top producer. Focus on what this is truly about. So how I do that too is by really getting to know my people. So something that I've been doing more and more of is, like, discovery calls. So there was a slide at Leadership that told us that 78% of people succeed better or are more likely to succeed if you get on the phone with them. And I thought that was really interesting. And something that I've learned, and I do a lot of voice memos, which is a great option too if you have a lot of cold market or whatnot. Not everybody, I see, honey, not everybody's going to want to get on the phone with you, right? And so voice memos are a great option, but if you can do some kind of a discovery call, that's a really good way to go. And so in my discovery calls, I do, like, I hear their goals, and then I listen to, like, their needs. And I share my story based on what their needs are. Like, I might highlight certain parts of my story over others. So, like, with one lady that is having health issues and she's talking about her cholesterol, I'm probably going to talk about the part of my story where my cholesterol actually, went down and improved when I started drinking Shakeology. Where, like, normally I know that the weight loss and that go hand in hand, but normally I would focus more on the weight loss transformation versus, like, that part necessarily. But for her, because I heard her, I'm gonna talk about that. I'm also gonna have, like, 20 to 30 second pauses in between. I'm gonna insert, questions into, my story, talk about Shakeology, how it benefited me, all of these things. Like, for me, accountability was key. Like, challenge groups, even as a coach, like, I've never been like a fitness model. Like, I think it's awesome that people are, but like, I've always struggled with weight. And so I talk about how like I'm a foodie at heart, and these challenge groups keep me accountable. They keep me supported and accountable, and that's so important. So then, just explaining everything and how it's changed your life. And so I really try to add that all in after I listen to them. And also like just asking the right questions. Somebody wants to lose 20 pounds. I think it's a good thing to ask them why. Like, I have found out with people that they are going to be a bridesmaid in a wedding and they didn't even offer that information at first, or they're getting married or whatnot. Sometimes our cold market might just say, I want to lose 20 pounds. So we need to like ask them why and how, so that when they might be struggling, it's okay to say like, hey, like, are you like, is there, are you wanted to get into that bridesmaid dress? Like, like, is this worth it? Is this worth it? Like reminding them of what their why initially was. And then here's just an example for you guys. I'm going to be honest with you, like anything that I could have put in writing is not the most current thing, because I do a lot of phone calls now. But I wanted to show this as an example. I do these ongoing free groups. I keep the same group, but I just do one a quarter, and I do them longer. And I build relationships that way. And so in this case, I'm just reaching out to somebody who's already in the group. But again, we're starting it back up because it's a new quarter. And so I'm just reminding her that she's already in the group and that kind of thing. But we're going to start full force on Monday. Would that interest her? And she goes into like, I'm so glad you messaged me personally. Like, I don't know her at this point from Adam. She's just a cold lead that came into my free group from my like page. And so she like gives me all this energy about like what has happened, how she lost weight, how she plateaued, how she's gained weight, how her family's been through a flood, like all this stuff. And here's the deal. Sometimes I ask people like, hey, would that interest you at all? And they're like, yep, thanks. So like if somebody says like, yeah, cool, thanks, I'm not going to like go into a novel, right? But I'm going to say like, awesome. Do you have any health and fitness goals for this season? But with this, she gave me a novel. I'm going to connect with her. I'm going to share with her who I am, stuff I've struggled with, about how I can totally understand the weight battle, and how as a coach I even struggled last year with a binge eating disorder and how hard that was. And I tell her about a much more just a more structured challenge group with tools that have helped me lose 56 pounds, and ask her if she'd be more interested in that. And she goes into then, talking a little bit more, going into it. And then I do a voice memo and about accountability and all of that. And then we go into this. She asked me a couple more questions. She ends up signing up. She ended up becoming a coach on my team. So, I think it's really important as like we're building trust to really just, again, match what that person is giving back. And again, sometimes we just get like a one-word answer or whatnot, and that's okay. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Let's go back, shall we? Oh, no. Hang on, guys. Sorry. Let's see. So I think, with the vital process, I think that it's so it's so key to start, whether they're a customer, a discount coach, whatever. It's so important for us to start building that trust from the get-go, because then when we go through the vital process of them in our challenge groups and they're there, we not only are we digging deeper into their story, but they already have a connection with us. So with the vital process, dang it. Why does that keep happening? There we go.
Look at me, Mama.
I see you, honey. Please sit down. Okay, so with the vital process, here's an example of kind of how I start to do that within my groups. This is a free group this is my ongoing free group. This is somebody that posted it, but I do this in my regular challenge groups as well. So this is Bethany. She's now a coach on my team. I have permission to share this with you guys. But she posted in my free group, and she's got like energy on fire. So I always look for people with the gift of encouragement. I don't think every single person in my challenge groups is supposed to coach. I don't approach every single person about coaching, but I look for the gift of encouragement. And when I see somebody posting like this group is such an inspiration for me. How can I pray for you? Let's experience this together. Like all this stuff. I'm like, oh, girlfriend, like you've got coach material written all over you. And I know like the first time I message her, she's probably going to say no, but I'm going to invite her to be a coach on my team, get that first no out of the way. And so I do that. And this is a little bit of a cookie cutter response, but she's like, yeah, I'd be really into that. I just kind of want to learn from like a leader first. And so then what I do, and I do this with a lot of my customers and people, is I say, awesome, why don't you join me in helping coach the group? I have a 21-day template that I can send you, and you can use your own pictures. You can make it your own and, do whatever you want with your days. But I think that would be like such a great way for her to be mentored. And let's be honest, guys, like afterwards, she's going to basically be already coaching. So when the group ends and I talk to her about coaching again, I can let her know that she's basically doing everything a coach does. She's just not getting paid, or most of what a coach does, just not getting paid. So anyway, so that's what I do with her. And then I introduce her to the group as a 21-day challenge coach. And I let them know that she's going to be joining me in posting. And if anybody else is interested in encouraging the group in that way, that they can, be a part of that with me as well. And like I said, this is how I form within my challenge groups. And it's worked really well for me. The one that I did in March, I ended up having 10 business coaches join my team from this free group. So not only did I end up selling 10 challenge packs, but they ended up being business coaches. And that was a really positive experience because and that doesn't always happen, guys. I don't always have 10 people join, right? I mean, there's absolutely, it's a roller coaster, right? But in that case, it was that really good time of year. People were excited, and it was great because as they were going through Coach Basics, it was a lot more about learning how to invite because they were confident in how to run a challenge group. This is just another example. Let's see. Okay, so I just want to encourage you guys with these last two slides. Joy setting, I know it sounds cheesy as ever. It's like that holiday season, but the truth is, guys, is that every day I have to remember that with inviting and recruiting and everything we do as coaches is that I get to do this. It's not something I have to do. I get to do it. And it totally changes my mindset. I don't wake up with like rainbows coming out of my ears, excited every single day, but I create that mindset. I wake up, I do my devotions. I have that mindset of like, okay, like I get to do this. Like there's an opportunity here to change lives. And that's pretty powerful. And you can look at it as, yep, some people start the program. Some people never finish it. They just were not ready. Did you do a good job as a coach? Yep. So, that's okay. It just wasn't their time, And so I just have to always remember to kind of like keep that joy, setting your mindset. If you enjoy the process, then you will enjoy what the process produces. And lastly, as we are in this December time of year, this is something that really speaks to my heart because I think I've been up and down on this, and I want you guys to really, really think about this. So we come in as a new coach. You get the 4 vital behaviors down. You're positive. You're excited. You have your initial growth. Sometimes there's, time lapse here. It takes a little bit of time. But you're excited. You're exceeding expectations. You're empowering. You're an emerging leader. You celebrate success. And I don't know what this success looks like. Maybe it's diamond. Maybe it's team leader. Maybe it's something like that. And you continue on that growth because you remain engaged, right? And then there's moments where you see people kind of get to a point where they're like, I'm diamond, I've arrived, And for me, like diamond was, I went diamond my first month in this business. I did not make $1 million when I went diamond. Still don't make $1 million, by the way. But I did not make $1 million when I went diamond. I'm so glad that I looked at diamond as like step one. And I'm so glad that I didn't, just stay in that process. I like continued to look at growing my team and helping more people achieve success as a part of it, right? But sometimes we embrace success, and I'll explain that in just a second too, because I have been there. I just didn't right away. You can lose focus. You can get into management mode. I've seen coaches get to like 2-star or 3-star, and then they just try to manage all their diamonds. And then guys, diamonds quit. Like I've had 1-star diamonds. I've had, 2-star diamonds quit, and it's confusing to me. But it was just not. They were called to this for a season. It's not common that 2-star and aboves quit, but it's something that has happened. And, I look at that, and I also see, though, that they got into management mode. They got into like this mode of just like trying to manage their business where it was at versus continuing to find people to join their team and recruiting and enjoying that process. The vital behaviors start to lose vitality. There's an attitude change. And then there's a moment of truth, and they can walk out the door. I have, after my team hit 15-star diamond, I found out the day I hit 15-star that I was 6 weeks pregnant. So that 6 weeks of qualification, I was pregnant. And it was almost like the day after I hit 15-star, I started to get really sick, and I ended up being sick through week 13 of pregnancy. And it was really hard. And I just kind of and I think it's okay, by the way, to not be like chasing goals like every single second of your business. But I kind of just like totally took a step back. Like I've arrived in a sense, like I think I thought, and I just kind of embraced it and let it be. And I really had like kind of figured out in September, when like my business did not look the same, that I had maybe taken too far of a step back, and that it was time to start getting back in the growth zone. I don't know how this happened, but it set in, and it was time to really start empowering my leaders and getting back over here. And I think it's so important for us as coaches, especially going into the new year, to remember that as long as we can stay in this growth zone and remain engaged and sustain that growth, we are not going to have these moments of truth. I think it was even like this past week, I had like a moment of truth where I was like sobbing over my computer. I'm a little emotional these days, not going to lie. But I just had this moment of like sobbing over my computer of like, like this isn't lining up for elite, or like this, and I really just like had to like, go like, does this define me? Does this define who I am? No. And like, I can still have joy setting, and I can still go up this growth zone without having to have certain things define me to the point where my attitude changes and I have a moment of truth, right? So anyway, I just wanted to encourage you guys with that. That's what I got for you guys tonight. So let me know what questions you guys have. Do you have any questions for me at all? I know that was kind of a lot, but I wanted to make sure to end on that note too.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Hi, Jess.
Hey.
First, I want to thank you so much for sharing with us, number one, and thank you for being so open about your faith. That's something that I have in common with you, so I really admire that. Thank you. But I do have a question as far as when you invite people to the coaching business. Mm-hmm. Back in your first year, though, not now, obviously, but did you only talk to challengers? I know it sounded like that's what you were saying, but so you never asked people outside of your challengers?
I did. I used to run ads. I still run ads, by the way, okay. But I used to run like more focused ads on coaching, where now what I've learned is that my top coaches were challengers first. Not all of them. There's always exceptions to that rule. So if you weren't a challenger first, that's okay. But I think that when people really believe in it, like they've experienced it and they believe in it, they just get started off on a better foot, I think, a little bit. My, and I know the business is changing a little bit. Like they're more focusing on people adding customers first. But when I first started, I worked at that church that I told you about, and price was hard for people. So I led with the discount coach option. Nobody really taught me anything about that. I just figured out that my coach, like I didn't have any training or anything when I started. I just kind of went into it, and I figured out that it would save them money if they signed up for the discount. So I led with that, and what was nice about that is that then when people were already signed up as a coach, then when I still treated them like a preferred customer, but then when they, when I did recruit them to be a coach, they didn't really have any extra steps to take. It messes with success starters, but they didn't have any extra steps to take. And so now I sign up a lot more customers and convert them to coaches and that kind of thing. That's something that I did at the beginning. But yeah, I would say that like a huge number of my diamonds started out as discount coaches or customers. And that's just kind of how I approached it. But I did do ads. I can think of like 3 of my diamonds that came from an ad that are like really star diamonds that are successful that came from an ad. So, I think God works in different ways with it, but the most successful way for me has been challengers first.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. And by the way, guys, everybody's different. Like what works for me might be like, might work totally different for you. And I think, we all have different markets. And I even have like coaches with different types of personalities than me that run their, like we're a family unit, but they still run their individual teams differently. And it works great for them. And I applaud that. Like, good for you, So it's whatever works. You guys have any other questions at all?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So I know you were talking about getting them on the phone. Do you do that immediately, or do you do that after you've already talked to them a little while on Messenger or email?
So I'll do my initial contact on Messenger, and then when they're interested, then I'm like, it'd be really great if you have like 5 minutes. I make sure to show them and tell them that it can be short, because I don't have hours to talk to people on the phone, and they don't really want that probably. I mean, some of them do, and you can tell when you're on the phone with them. But I just let them know, hey, I've got a quick 5 minutes. Do you want to just talk on the phone about your goals real quick, and we can see what might work best for you? And I just make it really casual, so it doesn't sound like we have to go through like their life history or anything. And then it's a lot, it's pretty cash. I, just try to relate to them. But honestly, I don't trust, I don't know if you guys use the link or whatever, the Coach Mobile app to sign people up, but I just have had really bad luck with that, of people actually following through. And when I'm on the phone with somebody and they get excited, and I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, I'm ready, I'm ready when you are. No pressure. If you want to, we can just sign up right now, or, that kind of thing. And a lot of times people will sign up on the spot, and I know then I'm walking them through it, and I know that they are going to be signed up,
Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else, guys?
I just have to say, Jess, that I absolutely love you and adore you, and I can't wait to meet you at Summit. I'll be there. So, and I'm from North Dakota, so we're pretty close. But I had asked you the first time to be on our call, and you just really spoke to my heart, because I'm very much about faith too. And so I've started leading my team with having more prayer and stuff, and that's just what really worked. And that's kind of when I noticed that my team really started growing too. So, and faith, farming, and fitness is usually my 3 things for my team. And so it's so cool that everybody, pretty much all the ladies on my team, have that in common. So it's really cool. So thanks. I just love you so much.
Oh, you are so awesome. No, I love that. Thank you so much. That really encourages me. I think too, it's so important to remember, guys, I've had these amazing, coaches on my team and just different stuff. And I'm just going to be really honest with you, this ending the year right now, has been really tough. Like, it's just, I'm seeing a lot of coaches just kind of disappear, which is not totally abnormal for this time of year, but it's hard, you know? And so I do believe that they'll come back full force in January and that kind of stuff. But I also believe that what you do right now is so vital for that. And so I just, you know, I say that just to, I remind myself daily that God has purpose for me, and that the people that he has brought to this team are not by accident. Like, there's a purpose, there's a reason for it. And I continue to pray for them and just love them where they're at. And I think it's so good for us to remember that too, because sometimes I've actually had coaches like message me and they're like, I'm a Christian too, and I believe that too, but my team isn't growing. So like, is God mad at me or something? I'm like, no, you know, it's like, not at all. You know, I think it's just about like, you know, he's all knowing, and it's just about like, you know, how things work out and how things line up for different seasons at different points in life. And so I just try to remember that too, because I can get really discouraged when I see people walk away. And the more people you talk to, the more rejection you will get. And the more people that are on your team, the more you will see grow and the more you will see walk away. And so, so I just encourage you guys with that too, because it's been a hard season, but God is definitely speaking to my heart in such a great way. So, but thank you for saying that, Alicia. That means a lot to me. Cool. Well, do you guys have any other questions at all? I will make sure you guys get my slides and everything too, okay? So, and I hope that wasn't like too simple or too basic. I like having systems that people can follow and that kind of thing. So, hope it was helpful. I hope it blesses you guys.
Thank you, Jessica. Anybody else have any last minute questions before we end the call?
Ooh,
All
I'll
right.
sneak one in.
Okay, Rachel has a question.
Hi, Jessica. I do have a question. I just wanted to tell you real fast that about a year ago, I was listening to a call that you did for Misfit Republic a while back, and I was listening to it on podcast, and you pretty much kind of found me at my moment of truth, I guess, and encouraged me to keep going. So I wanted to thank you for that, first of all. But my question was, do you have any other suggestions for how you kind of highlight people in your challenge group? I think challenge groups are so important for kind of making people feel like a part of something and making them feel special. And so especially when you highlight people who are going to be possible business coaches, do you have any other suggestions for that?
Totally do. I'm going to try to pull up a slide real quick on... Nope, it's not. I have different folders on my desktop that I'm looking at real quick. So, okay, here we go. So something that I do, and this is probably not like brand new news to anybody, but I do a lot of challenger spotlights. So I will always ask them before I would post about them. And I ask them what picture they would like me to use too. But I will highlight something that has to do with their success, you know, like this one is Samantha. She's, you know, down 8 pounds in 1 week. You know, it might be 2 pounds, it might be 5. It doesn't matter. This just happens to be 8 pounds in 1 week, which is kind of amazing. But, and then I talk about like those normal objections that we get. Like Sam is a mom who works really hard. She's often, you know, lacking sleep from crazy hours because this is all things that she has told me. However, she decided to make her health a priority for herself and the people that she loves. And, you know, I'll just like celebrate that and, you know, have a proud coach moment. And I'll be honest with you, Rach, like I've started people's business for them in a sense, like where I've invited them to the coaching opportunity. They've said no. I do a challenger spotlight on them, and like they will be like, "Girl, what are you doing? Like, I want to get in on that. I want to do that too." And they'll come back to me and they'll be like, "Okay, so I know I said no to that coaching thing, but I have like people that are interested in this, you know?" And it can be something that is so powerful. And so we all know that like recognition is the fourth vital behavior. Some people love recognition, and some people, like, it makes them want to squirm. And so that's why it's so good to always ask first. But if they're into it, like, words of affirmation is my love language. So being highlighted by an upline coach or something, like, speaks to my heart, you know? And so if my coach had done a challenger spotlight on me, it would have meant the world to me. You know, it would have been like, oh, I'm on the right track. I feel so encouraged, like that kind of thing, you know? So yeah. So that's something that I do. Do you guys do challenger spotlights?
I haven't before, not exactly in that way, but that's an amazing idea. It's kind of
slide in too, so that you guys have it. But I think it's such a great way. And so not only in the group, but I put it on their page.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I do it in the group, but on their page, and that can be really powerful. Yes. Oh, somebody just asked that. Yes, Diana.
Good question.
Good question, Diana. Yeah. So it's fun to do in the group, but I do it on their page too. I have one girl that has lost 17 pounds now in 2 rounds, and she's so excited, and I'm really excited to shout her out tomorrow. So yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's just, and it also validates your business. So like there's times when I'll put it on their page and my page. And it also shows people that, like, not only do you talk about this coaching thing, but, like, people are actually getting real results from it. So, yeah.
Love that. Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else?
How often do you do your challenger spotlights?
I try to do, like, once a week. It really depends on the group, though, too. You know? Like, when I am forming a coach, it's a great way to, like, start with them, but you also don't want to come off like too strong. So I always try to ask people if they're interested in coaching that first week, because I know they're probably going to say no, but then it's going to be on their mind. And then the second week is when they start to, like, see results more. Then I will do a challenger spotlight more towards the second week. And so it really depends on, like, when my challenge groups are and when they all line up. So I want to say, like, once a week, but that's not true. Mm-hmm. It just depends on when it lines up and that kind of thing.
Okay.
But I don't think it'd be bad to do it once a week. Just an FYI. I don't think that's bad or anything like that. I don't think it's an overkill. I don't think you can ever share too much fun stories about the people that you're working with personally. Anything else, guys? Well, I think you guys heard my fun little potty training happening. So I'm going to go make sure that everything got cleaned up. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to do that. But thank you again, you guys.
Thank you.
And if you guys think of any other questions, just message or whatnot. And I think I'm getting a cold or something. I feel stuffed up. But just message, and I'll make sure to get you the slides too. And I have a sneak peek at 9. So it might be that I send them to you, just so that I can prepare real quick. But I'll get them.
No problem.
Yes.
Thank you. Have a great holiday.
All right, guys. You too. Merry Christmas.
Bye. Merry Christmas.
Bye.